Well, a brand new event in Pokemon Masters allows us to finally see an interaction between Perrin and Adaman, and oh boy, this is gonna be fun. Oh wait, am I and Arizu are there too?
I'm Arizu. I'm a warden of the Diamond Clan.
Wait, hang on, her name is Arizu? Yeah, really interesting to finally have these characters in a game with voice acting, because that means we'll get to hear how their voices actually sound, as well as how their names are supposed to be pronounced for some of them. I had just always been calling her Arezu for like the past 3 years, and everybody had basically been doing the same. But you know, that pronunciation actually makes sense. Arizu, a lot like Aries. No, not that one. Anyway, let's go in and get to the story. So things begin at the Paseo Academy as Juliana and Florian are talking, and they're met by Perrin. And Perrin and Juliana know each other because of the events of the Scarlet and Violet DLC, which does make sense. You know, sometimes I forget that Perrin is like a Scarlet and Violet character because of her connections to the Hisuian characters. But this sparks up a conversation about the Blood Moon Beast. You know, Blood Moon Ursaluna, one of my favorite Pokemon. Though for the moment, Perrin has heard about stories of a regular Ursaluna living here on Paseo. And that is when Ray walks in, and yeah, I haven't been doing videos or discussing this a whole lot, but basically Ray is getting a modern day education at the Paseo Academy, and so he's dripped out like this. The point is that he knows exactly who to introduce Perrin to. So we catch up with Adaman on the beach at night, where he runs into Mai and Arizu. He had a general idea that there had been some space-time distortion shenanigans going on, or at least, you know, he could find somebody who had fallen through one here. And so it's really great to see them all catch up with each other. I really do just love all the Legends Arceus characters, and especially the Diamond Clan. You know, Pearl Clan is cool as well, but just the fact that we're seeing so many Diamond Clan characters introduced at first, it seems like that's the favorite one for Pokemon Masters. Eventually we'll see the rest of them, though Adaman is able to explain the situation to them. Aside from the initial shock, I think all the Hisuian characters take to being in the future pretty well. I guess maybe they're used to a bunch of weird stuff happening. This is when Ray shows up and meets everybody else, and introduces Adaman to Perrin. We don't really get anything officially between them acknowledging each other, saying like, ooh, hey, you look a lot like me, maybe you're my ancestor or my descendant, but they both just stare at each other, and I think like there's a very knowing look, like they have to know they're related in some way, that's why they're looking at each other. We don't see too much interaction between them throughout the rest of the event, but I think that is kind of funny that they just have like this secret, or at least, you know, that's what I'm theorizing. It could be that they're both really dumb and they have no idea what's going on, but with how smart they both are, I would at least like to imagine that they know. For sure, Perrin's gotta have some idea. Anyway, we're joined by a bunch of Pokemon, the Ursaluna that Adaman has partnered up with here on Paseo, that he used to find both Mai and Arizu, you know, great reference to the main series games, and also their Pokemon that fell with them through the space-time distortion, Munchlax and Hisui and Lilligant. Now, Perrin's able to get her pictures, kind of foregoing further conversation, so we don't necessarily get the chance for anybody to like figure out exactly their relationship, but really the main focus of this event is on Mai, and Arizu and Perrin as they're all hanging out. While they've been on Paseo for a few days and have kind of got the hang of everything, they don't necessarily know how they fit in terms of what they can bring to the community. And I think that makes a lot of sense, especially with how they are back in Hisui, you know, both being leaders in the Diamond Clan and having this sense of responsibility, like especially Mai, who was basically Adaman's older sister. They run into Barry in his superhero outfit, who is in a hurry as always, though he drops his Poryphone. They follow him and find him alongside Celine as they're in this exhibition battle, putting on a show, though in order to finish off the show, they're going to need to Mega Evolve, which Barry isn't able to do without his Poryphone. So Mai sends down Munchlax to deliver it to him, and it's a funny little moment, especially the whole thing with Barry and Munchlax in modern day from the Sinnoh games. Of course, this is a very special Munchlax, it's Mai's Munchlax, but I thought it was a cute interaction. So they're able to Mega Evolve and finish things off. Another fun little interaction after the show as Barry and Celine catch up with them, and they all kind of get acquainted. It's also a really funny idea how they acknowledge the similarities between a warden and a trial captain on Alola, so that's a really nice way to bring everything together, you know, just like little interactions here and there. Like obviously there's a connection in Munchlax and Barry, and then now the connection in the wardens and someone from Alola. It makes for a fun time aside from just having these characters to react to modern day. Though they round off a night as Munchlax is acting a little weird, and that's when Mai realizes it used to act this way in Hisui whenever there was a massive mass outbreak. So that leads them to a space-time distortion, and yeah, it's not good, there are some people trapped inside, but they're able to save them having two wardens, a rival, and a protagonist. So I really do like that this is where Mai figures out what she should do on Paseo. Together with Munchlax, she's going to serve as a surveyor for any other Pokemon that might be displaced by space and time, to make sure everyone stays safe and their transition goes smoothly. That's also a nice way of kind of confirming that we're going to get even more of the Hisuian characters showing up in Pokemon Masters in the future. Starting off with Ray and Akari and then Adaman and Rita was a good idea, but now that we've gotten some other citizens, I totally expect even more to show up. Next, we'll probably get some from the Pearl Clan. and that'll be a great opportunity for Irida to show up, which by the way, yeah, Irida was not in this event at all. You know, there's like a whole theory about Perrin herself, about whether she's the descendant of both Adaman and Irida, because you know, that's a ship that we all want to see happen, but for now we only really get the interactions between Perrin and Adaman, and I like that they have a moment afterwards as well, as they're both talking about time as usual, and once again they kind of share a little knowing look. I just know deep down inside Perrin wants to call him Grandpa, but that is basically it for the event, and I really enjoyed it, though I still haven't gotten Erizu from a role yet. It was a nice time, just, you know, someone who's a big fan of Legends Arceus and seeing a lot of the characters finally making their way to Pokemon Masters as well. It was also kind of a nice way to give Mai even more focus, because, you know, I think she got a decent amount in the video game she debuted in, being one of the first wardens that you meet, and again, just being somebody very important in the DLC. But yeah, it was a great idea to have her basically be the main character of all this. And Perrin as well, a more recent character, but one that is really well loved. I don't know if they'll confirm the Adaman and Irida ship or anything, but in the future I would really like to see her interact with Perrin. And you know, I don't think that they'll confirm it in like Pokemon Masters. I think maybe in the video games if they end up doing something like, you know, giving Perrin a sister or brother who happens to look a lot like Irida, you know, in the main series games. That's definitely not something that's going to happen in a spin-off. But let me know what you think in the comments below about this event, and who you're excited to add to your team. It's been a while since I've done Pokemon Masters videos, and I think that this was one that really warranted one, though going forward with YouTube Shorts being extended to 3 minutes, and the fact that the game is natively like in a vertical format, maybe that's a place to talk about it more, and then maybe it'll mean I can talk about things more frequently. I don't know, let me know what you think in the comments. Anyway, I gotta get back to thinking about my future and taking a picture of my own Blood Moon Beast, which by the way, you might have noticed that the Red Moon Bear shirts are no longer available. That's because we're switching merch websites, and stay tuned, it's not ready to launch yet, but you know, maybe next week. Thank you to every channel member for your continued support, including the Great Gators, Alex with Shiny Hunts, Justin Dowes, Cosmo Zero, Tyler Hopper, Koi13, Cemetery Hill, Cheez-It62, GatorKid509, TF, Mathaclock947, Taijirai, Justin R, Phantom, and Quago. If you would like to support, see your name here, get access to emotes, for comments, live streams, sometimes early videos, and our members podcast, you can become a channel member today. You can also follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky as well for more memes. Anyway, this is Gatorex, and I will catch you all later.